One of which is that they cost taxpayers ridiculous amounts of money, or they helplessly try to strengthen our borders, pretending that if we spend more money, we can somehow keep them out altogether. I cannot stress the vitality of the issue of immigration enough. Immigrants are flocking to the United States in staggering numbers, and the issue has appeared numerous times in the news, even recently serving as the cover story in Time magazine. In Alabama, for example, illegal immigration has been decimated over the last several years as a result of the E-Verify system. Even this elimination, however, was not beneficial, as the state now has a very weak labor force. The fact of the matter is that we need this illegal labor force. Should my proposal be enacted, we will maintain this labor force and do so legally. Vote for comprehensive immigration reform, vote for a stabilizing force in our nation's shaky economy, and vote for true opportunity for all. Thank you, and I yield my time to my closing statement.
Thank you, author. You have yielded 2 minutes and 10 seconds. With that, we move to technical and non-debatable questions. Are there such questions? Before the chair recognizes Childers, Childs, Johnson, Frizzy, Mechanic, Price, Canonico, Williams, Carroll, Mucharla.
Amanda Johnson, Michigan delegation. If a family member is issued a purple card, would the entire immediate family receive legal residency as well?
Yes, ma'am, as long as they have a purple card. I do not know exactly, no.
Ian Childs, North Carolina. Will the... Thank you.
I'll go with you and delegation. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you please repeat the amendment?
I cannot. Perhaps they can.
The amendment is that purple cards, there are no country limits on purple cards, and per country.
May Greasy, Oklahoma. If a person has a purple card, how would it affect the naturalization process? So if they have it, how would they go about becoming a full citizen?
It's just like a green card. It's kind of the first step in that process. Wait, sorry, can you repeat that?
Delegate, that's debatable.
Amy Childers, New Mexico delegation. Will this proposal be speeding up the process of getting a work permit?
This is a work permit of sorts.
What kind of residency does a green card offer?
A green card offers residency for skilled workers and has a lottery for that offers.
Thank you, author.
How fast is this
This is only a proposal, it's just an idea.
Thank you, author.
Thank you, Fields Pierce, North Carolina. So theoretically, would there be less paperwork involved with a purple card than with a green card?
Less what work?
Paperwork.
Less paperwork, yes.
Are there further questions? The chair recognizes Johnson, Volmer, the delegate, Back, Childs, Willard, Johnson.
Amanda Johnson, Michigan delegation. Do green cards have per country limits?
Yeah, they do not. Oh, green cards, yes, they do. Sorry. Wait, which one did you say? I'm not positive it's in the billions.
Thank you, author.
Thanks, Sir Chair. My name is Serge Voltmer, and I am the floor. Author, can you provide any examples throughout history from when increasing the workforce led to decreasing unemployment?
The Great Depression.
Thank you.
If these workers are laid off, will they receive unemployment welfare benefits?
If they're laid off, then they no longer have a purple card anymore.
Ian Childs, North Carolina. In the event that a family with a purple card fails to renew it after 2 years, will they be deported?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Brittany Zeller from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Just to clarify, this only gives them the right to work for 2 years, correct?
Yes, unless they renew it.
Thank you.
Thank you, author. Time for technical non-debatable questions has now elapsed. The chair will now open up the floor for contra debate. or rather, a content speaker? Will that content speaker please approach the well?
Andrew Grissom, delegation of Tennessee, the volunteer state. First of all, I'd like to applaud the author's intention with this proposal. I feel like illegal immigration is something that we really need to work on when it comes to our government. But there are a few flaws that really need to be addressed. First of all, when you look at it, our system's in place. Yes, they have some flaws, but they have been working well to a degree. Yes, we do have border problems, but you can never have 100%, excuse me, you can never stop completely immigrants from coming over the border. That's almost impossible. You do not have enough people to cover the border to make sure that there's no one coming over. Second of all, the Purple Card program, which the author wants to put into our system, is only going to go to confuse the population. We already have the green card system. We already have border control. These are already systems in place to keep our illegal immigration under control. I think that, but the main point that I want to bring up is that if we give these purple cards to anybody, this is going to overcrowd our country. I think that one thing, the green cards are limited to 50,000 cards are put out annually. And the reason for that is overcrowding. We cannot have overcrowding in our country because, it's uncomfortable for everybody here, and it just goes to, we have to feed all these people, and then those people come in, and then they have babies, and then, then their babies have babies, and it just overcrowds, and it's just a bad deal. And so with all this, while I applaud the author's intentions, I have to negate, and with that, I use my time. Thank you.
The chair thanks the delegate for his time. The chair will now recognize the pro-intent speaker. Will the pro-intent speaker approach the floor?
Thank you, Sir Chair. My name is Ben Lezepnik from the California delegation. Our current immigration policy fails both immigrants and American taxpayers. Our policy of senseless deportation benefits none of the parties who are involved. We need a serious change, and this proposal delivers that very change. Now, I'd like to address the fact that this proposal won't take away our jobs. It simply regulates law-abiding workers who are already here and already applying legally to immigrate here, and it makes them pay taxes to pay for the services that they receive for our country. So it's a fiscally responsible immigration law that benefits every party involved. We shouldn't turn away deserving workers who want a safe, legal method of achieving the American dream. That would be wrong, and that would be irresponsible, and that wouldn't even be logical to the benefit of us as Americans ourselves. There's an argument made that this will confuse the immigrants, but I say that if people are passionate enough to apply and participate in the system, I don't think they'll find it confusing. I think that they'll be able to use the system. It's fairly simple. If you read the legislation, it is sensible. It's very clear and concise, and I applaud the author for writing it in such a way. Look, these are folks who want to come here to work hard and benefit our economy, so we shouldn't turn them away. When discussing immigration, it is too often forgotten that immigration is a human issue. It involves real people who want a better future for themselves and their families, and they want to achieve that better future right here. This will benefit us. This will benefit those in other countries who are trying to get here. This will benefit our nation. This will benefit the United States of America. This is a wonderful proposal that we should all support as Americans. Thank you, and I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. With that, the floor is open for a con speech. The chair recognizes Delegate Zeller.
Brittany Zeller from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you, Sir Chair. I yield the right to remain any time
Baker from Florida. I'm completely against this proposal for one reason and one reason alone. The amount of jobs that we currently have in the United States. All over the United States, we've laid off workers, we have gotten rid of thousands of jobs just within this past year alone. And delegates, our problem is not getting more workers into this workforce to fix the economy, it is getting more jobs into it. And with that, I yield my time to
You've yielded a minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, fellow delegate. The thing I would like to bring up in opposition to this proposal is simply the infeasibility of the demand of goods into this. Currently, the U.S. supplies a finite amount of green cards per year and other immigration visas for people of skilled laborers that can come and contribute to higher echelons of productivity for the U.S. One thing that makes these immigrants, unskilled workers, so demand is that the fact that they are illegal immigrants, they're willing to work as day laborers for below minimum wage for ungodly amount of hours in work that we don't want to do. When we are supplying them with visas, it's required that they be paid a minimum wage, and that decreases their demand for their skills. So when an employer has to hire either an immigrant with a visa or someone who is national for the same amount of money, more often than not, they're going to pick the national, regardless of experience, regardless of nationality. So with that, I say that while noble, this does have problems with feasibility, even though we are not in the ranking, so I encourage you to vote down this proposal. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to the chair.
Thank you, Delegate. The chair will now entertain a pro speaker. The chair recognizes the delegate from Arizona. Delegates, please be respectful.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Jordan from the very Grand Canyon state of Arizona. I reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time to Delegate Arnold from Indiana.
That's your right.
Tennessee. Sorry. As a delegate from Arizona, I can attest to just how complex of an issue illegal immigration and immigration on the whole can be. And over the past few years in this country, it's become so polarizing, especially to someone like me from Arizona, that what we end up getting is something that's radically left or radically right. However, today's proposal is a good compromise that solves a lot of issues in today's system. Namely, specifically in Arizona, we run into two key issues. First is that we have a struggling economy and a lot of debt, and passing today's proposal and allowing a lot more workers into the workforce could vitalize a struggling economy in a state that's now surviving off of running on fumes on tourism. And second, and more importantly, is that the E-Verify system, which is key to trying to keep businesses clean and keep them in check, is so clogged up in Arizona because of the fact that it is so poorly run, because of so many names in the system. It seems clear that by passing today's proposal, we would do a good job of cleaning up that system by taking names out of it and make it much more effective. With that, I yield my time to the delegate from Tennessee.
You've yielded 40 seconds.
Thank you, Sir Chair. Thank you, previous delegate. Jennifer Arnold from Tennessee. If you would allow me to read from the Time magazine, that's not the one that you mentioned earlier, but something different. We think of ourselves as a melting pot, but did you know that Canada and Australia both have higher percentages of foreign-born citizens than the U.S. currently? Canadian immigration policy is now centered on recruiting talented immigrants with abilities the country needs. These individuals tend to apply for work visas themselves. The Canadian government awards points towards the visa with extra points for technical skills and work experience. The results of this system are evident in Vancouver, where American high technology systems like Microsoft have large research laboratories and offices. The people working in these offices are almost all foreign graduates.
Delegate, your time has elapsed. The chair will now entertain a con speaker. The chair recognizes the delegate here. She has received her placard.
Regardless as it may sound, I feel that's a mistake, making it easier and quicker for illegals to gain work permits in America. It's sort of sending the wrong message. It's contradicting. We say that it's not right to illegally enter the United States, but then we're offering them easier chances to work, so it's kind of contradictory. It's saying it's rewarding what we would rather than not do. It's saying even though we'd rather you not do this, it's okay because we have big hearts and we'll make it easier for you anyway. And so, also, a large portion of workers, both legal and illegal, that are in the United States, are the money that they earn in their jobs. They're not necessarily using that money to stimulate the American economy and to further the American plight. They're actually sending that back home to stimulate their own economies, and so that's not necessarily being recycled back into ways that's for the American population. And that you'll remember my time for the author's speech.
Thank you, Delegate. That was a con speech, and so yielding to the author's summation is not in order. The chair recognizes the chair will now search for a proposed speaker. The chair recognizes the delegate from New Mexico.
Elijah Candelario, New Mexico.
Just a moment, delegate. Please proceed.
Elijah Candelario, North Mexico. What is, excuse me, I reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time.
So reserved.
So what is America? America is an idea. America is the idea that any man, woman, or child can reap the fruits of their labor. The only blood that needs to run through the veins of an American is the blood of a patriot, the blood of one whose sweat will help forge this nation into a shining new future. Now, 11 million illegal immigrants live in this country, including my home state of New Mexico. Now, those 11 million illegal immigrants have faced deportation, ostracization, discrimination, and even death to simply be here, to work on a lettuce field, doing backbreaking labor for $30 a day. Now, because of regressive taxes such as sales tax and property tax, illegal immigrants contributed $11 billion to the economy of the state of Texas in 2010. Now, that outweighs the $10 billion that they received in services. So that actually created $1 billion for the state of Texas because of illegal immigrants. Now, I don't want illegal immigration to continue the way it is. My dad is a Border Patrol agent in San Diego, and he risks his life every day to protect our border. But I am a fan of human dignity and of liberty. So I say, Viva Libertad, and Viva los Estados Unidos. And I yield the remainder of my time to the delegate.
Thank you, delegate. You yielded 35 seconds.
Paul Yang from the Model United Nations delegation. Thank you, Sir Chair. I believe that there is dignity in all labor, as we have learned recently, and there is dignity in the labor of these immigrants. And you have to realize, we talk about how they steal our jobs, but they're not stealing our jobs. Honestly, there's not a lot of people who are clamoring for work, picking oranges, working under the hot, hot sun. We complain about how they take our jobs, but we're just blaming our troubles on someone else. They come and they do work for us. And a lot of southern states who have started deporting immigrants suddenly find themselves short on labor. We don't want to get rid of them. We want them to stay here, help us. And this will help them, help us, and continue America being great. I yield the remainder of my time to the chair.
Thank you, delegate. The chair seeks a final con speaker. The chair recognizes the delegate from Texas.
From Texas, I reserve the right to yield the remaining time to Delegate James from South Carolina.
So reserved.
All right, the problem with this proposal is it inherently assumes wrong laws with immigration. First, a green card is not a work visa. It is a permanent resident card that you receive after living in the United States with a work visa and applying to live in the United States permanently. Second, the proposal is essentially equivalizing a permanent green card with a purple card. A purple card essentially would no longer become a work visa, but rather a permanent living visa, a permanent residency card in the United States. Second, the proposal is assuming that green cards are hard to get. Of course they are. They're permanent resident cards. Work visas, on the other hand, like J1, F1, H1, are not hard to get. I speak from prior experience through immigration, and with that, I yield any remaining time I had to Delegate James.
How can you provide a permanent residency card that expires in 2 years?
Because the cap that we have on this. We don't actually have a cap. We only offer jobs that are open that aren't taken by Americans. So having it 2 years on it would allow us to.
But does it not say permanent residency?
Sorry, what?
But does it not, in your proposal, does it not say permanent residency?
It does not. It's residency while they have a job, while they have a purple card.
Then why are you saying that green cards and purple cards are similar?
Because they're similar in that they offer jobs to immigrants.
Green card is not a work visa. Are you aware that green card is not a work visa? It's a permanent residency card?
Yes, ma'am.
Then why are you... Right. Give the rein of my time.
Thank you, Delegate. With that, time for con-pro debate has elapsed. The chair recognizes the proposal author for a 4-minute, 10-second summation.
Thank you, Chair. Will Kitchens, Wisconsin. Before I go into a summary, I'm just going to cover a few
Excuse me, author.
Thank you. I'm just going to cover a few comm points that were brought up. Previous delegate stated that it was a bad idea to make it easier for foreign people to apply. This actually, they still must apply like any other system. It's not making anything easier to apply. Also, another delegate stated that our system is already working to a degree. Our system is absolutely not working to a degree. We have almost 12 million illegal immigrants right now. And another problem is that our government and law enforcement turn the other cheek. For example, 8 million illegal immigrants pay Social Security, Medicare, and state and federal income taxes. That is 2/3 of the illegal immigrants in our country. And since we need these immigrants, we are turning the other cheek. So all I'm doing is making them now legal. Also, another delegate said that it was a problem that we didn't have a limit on the number that can come. We don't give the purple cards out at will. We give them only out as we have positions to fill. So we aren't taking any American jobs, and we have a more comprehensive system to cover this. Also, I want to stress that we have unfilled jobs, just not ones that citizens are willing to take. For example, 86% of agricultural laborers, such as farmhands, are illegal immigrants. That points to the unwillingness that Americans have to take these sorts of jobs that I'm offering. Also, I'm just going to cover a few of the great benefits of this proposal. With the implementation of the Purple Card immigration system, American society will benefit in several key areas. Namely, we will see a more stable blue-collar workforce. We will have the ability to more easily monitor the labor force. And we will see a substantial decrease in criminal activity, especially in the workplace. Taxes and medical aid among this group of people will be far more reliable and readily available, and business owners will be afforded a larger group of qualified applicants so that they may expand their businesses and make America better. The time is now to rein in wasteful government spending and to give all able workers at least the opportunity to experience the American dream. Furthermore, we also must give them the opportunity to live their lives to the fullest and the opportunity to contribute to the strongest nation in the world, the United States of America. Thank you, and I yield my time to the chair.
Thank you, author. The motion before this General Assembly is to pass Proposal 431. All those in favor, please rise and say aye. Aye. All opposed, please. It is the opinion of the chair that the ayes who have it. This proposal